In today's video, we're going to be diving into that upcoming major Christmas blizzard that is going to bring a white Christmas to a handful of different states. Definitely going to be a very impactful and historic storm. We also have a major polar vortex event that is on the way that's also going to bring tons of different impacts for your Christmas travel and also the days before and after Christmas as well. So many different impacts with both of these things. Now, I want to mention real quickly that I am coming down with a cold, so if my voice sounds a little bit nasally or hoarse, that is the reason why, but we're pushing through regardless because there's so many important things to talk about today. And it's interesting today looking at the current conditions. We have energy piece number 1 out here and piece number 2 starting to come together out here. So we actually have the things we've been talking about for days now finally taking place. Let's just zoom into some of these different features. We can see that things are just getting started out west. Some rainfall along the coastal regions, some snowfall for your more northwestern regions here, especially in the higher elevations, and actually very heavy snowfall taking place around Seattle and even downtown Seattle actually as well, but especially these Cascades out here, very heavy snowfall taking place. The bright whites will be very heavy, but the blues will be whiteout conditions, extremely heavy snowfall taking place there for those Cascade Mountains like we mentioned. As we move a little bit further eastward, we can see that down here in the southeast, we have energy piece number 1 really unfolding here, bringing tons of different stormy conditions, showers and thunderstorms depending on where you're at. Certainly going to be possible, so this is going to be very impactful. Potential flooding, especially in this blob down here for central Florida. As we can see, that is widespread yellows and oranges for hours and hours and hours that is on the way. It's going to start out for Tampa Bay. I would probably say anywhere in this corridor here should be expecting to see this. This includes Daytona, Tampa, Orlando, all of those areas there expecting activity from this storm. As we work our way further north, it's more thunderstorm activity and showery activity throughout the southeast. And this is going to partially move offshore like this, and then we're going to see some of this back end stuff start to move up the coast, and that's going to meet up with our storm coming in from the north, and that's what's going to create this massive snowstorm for the eastern and middle portions of the country. Like I mentioned, we do have some snow showers here for the Great Lakes, kind of just a little tiny sample of what's on its way. Hardly anything in comparison to what is on its way, though. Light to moderate snow showers here are around. Now, what we're going to do is move on, and we're going to take a look at our modeled guidance, where we're going to get to see this major snowstorm that's on its way, some changes in its trajectory, and then also potentially another snowstorm right after Christmas that we need to talk about, especially for the East Coast and Southeast. That's going to be a possibility around the 26th through 28th time frame we're watching for that possibility. So we're going to talk about all of those things within this video. So the same thing that we've been doing 2 videos in a row now, we're going to do again today. We're going to just take a look at our European model and then eventually our GFS as well. As we can see, this split kind of happens here by the time we're reaching tomorrow afternoon on Wednesday. We see a lot of that energy heading offshore, but we're going to start to see some of it lingering and heading up the coast. And then we also see energy piece number 2 really diving in, where this is going to kind of meet up with everything down there as well. So let's watch this play out. We see a lot of this energy heading up the eastern United States, and this storm has shifted so far west, it is shocking. I've never seen anything quite like this. We have plenty of snowfall throughout that corridor there. We start to see our low really develop over Indiana here. Again, warm front on this eastern end is allowing for thunderstorm activity to take place and more humid conditions here to the east, but a swinging, very intense cold front underneath is going to allow for snowfall anywhere where that cold front passes, basically. And this is going to be an intense cold front and potential major wind event along that as well. We need to talk about the fact that there might be thunderstorms along that front, and if there isn't, it's still going to be extremely windy as you go from perhaps 50s or 60s down into the 30s and 20s. That's going to be a severe drop in the temperatures, and that's just going to bring a lot of intensity with it. We can see our low located right around Lake Erie there, and it's doing this S curve here where the warm front is kind of kinked in just like this, and then your cold front is extending outward. So we get this kind of rotation going on with the pattern. That's obviously pretty indicative of a very, very strong storm, and we do have a very, very strong storm here, clearly. Very heavy snowfall happening throughout the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes here. Still rain on the eastern end of things, potential for thunderstorms and even severe weather activity with that. Can't be ignored there. And then we could see that by the time we're reaching about I would say 8 p.m. on the 23rd there, that's going to be Friday. We have that 967 millibar low pressure center up there in eastern Canada. This is still bringing some snowfall to the Great Lakes and some of the interior northeastern United States there. And that lingers and eventually moves up, which leaves us with this by Christmas Day, a very, very intense trough here in the east and a big, big ridge here in the west. So we're left with this extreme polar vortex, and we'll take a look at the temperature anomalies later on. But this is going to be one of the most extreme polar vortex events that we've seen in years. We see almost what wants to be a clipper system here taking place by the time we're reaching Boxing Day. But that really doesn't do much of anything. And really what we've seen over the past few model runs is a lot more of an intense look here with this storminess wanting to move up the coast. And we still have plenty of cold along this corridor up here. So if we can get that storm to move right along the jet stream here for the eastern United States, we are very close to a big time hit here just after Christmas. We're talking Monday through Wednesday time frame. We can see that we don't quite get a hit here in the European model, as the low is probably here closer to Bermuda. But this is a lot closer to a hit than what we've seen in previous model runs, and this is trending in the right direction. And this could trend west if we're looking at the previous biases. We saw obviously our Christmas Eve and white Christmas blizzard trend west severely once it got within 140 hours or so of the storm occurring. And now we're starting to see this storm trend west. So if this one continues to trend west just like that one did, that would place it right along the coast and bring potentially a major snowstorm for the eastern United States. I think that needs to be watched closely, and we will on this channel at least watch it every single day. So be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon as well for notifications, because we will be tracking all of these things over the coming days. Now the total snowfall for that snowstorm, and really just over the next 10 days in general, is going to look something like this. Anywhere in the grays, dusting, if anything. Blues, 2 to 6 inches of snowfall. Purple, 6 to 10. Pinks, 10 to 20 there. Your pastel blues will be 20 to 35 inches of snowfall, and then your pastel pinks, 35 inches plus. Certainly a whole lot of snowfall expected here. Then as we take a look here at our GFS model, we'll walk through this one. Again, we see energy piece number 1 slide off. So we have really good agreement here. That is what's going to be taking place. We have energy piece number 2 moving in. And really, we get the same exact look here. Snowfall here for a lot of the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley. We do, however, on this model, something that's interesting is I see that this low here is a lot more dominant than what we saw on the European model. This is still the primary low up here over the Great Lakes. However, this low offshore is bringing a lot more intensity along the coast than what we saw from the European model. Probably going to side with the European model on this one, but this would indicate much more back-end snowfall for these areas, as you can see. We'll see it on the total snowfall, but this is a very, very intense look. Still going to receive a lot of snowfall regardless. We're left with the very, very cold temperatures. And on this particular GFS model run, we're still very far off from a hit with this 26 through 28 snowstorm as well here. As you can see, that stays well offshore, but both models, the thing that I think is worth definitely noting is there is plenty of cold all the way down through Alabama and Georgia and South Carolina, all the way up the East Coast to support a snowstorm here during the days following Christmas time. So if we can just get that storm trending in a western direction, we would be set up for a very, very major snowstorm, and that's why we need to track it closely. You can also join our Facebook group, Weather Freaks, where we've been talking about this, and they're actually talking about model runs every single 6 hours that one comes out. Obviously, I only make one video a day, so you're only getting one a day, but over there on the Facebook group, we're talking about it much more frequently. So that's worth noting as well. Now, as we continue this on, we can see things get much more mild for the eastern United States as we approach January here. We're left with a big, big ridge here in the eastern United States and a negative PNA here by the time we're reaching about December 30th. Now, we're taking this with a grain of salt because it is beyond 200 hours out, but I think this is a good likelihood and certainly has legs to stand on, unfortunately, for cold and snow lovers in the east. It does look like we still get some major storminess here occasionally in the east. Even if that's in the form of rainfall, there's still a lot of storminess, and then out west, certainly a lot of snowfall occurring there, as you can see. Let's just take a look at the total snowfall. This is through that storm. And as you can see, again, the grades dusting, if anything, blues 2 to 6 inches, purple 6 to 10, pinks 10 to 20, pastel blues 20 to 35, and then your pastel pinks 35 to 48 inches plus. And as we work our way in towards the end of the model run here, we get a lot of snowfall out west here in the long range, according to this model, which is also worth noting. Now, the temperature pattern. Let's work our way into this polar vortex, and we can see it really setting up right here. This is our extreme polar vortex that's just going to slide its way into the eastern United States over the coming days. We start to see it make its move here by the time we're reaching about Wednesday into Thursday. So already by tomorrow night, this is going to be on the move, and we can see this strong difference in temperatures here. That's right where that cold front would be located. And we can see this is a violent cold air mass heading into above normal temperatures that are out ahead of it. That's why I think the wind event with this could be so severe. I'm really hoping for no power outages, because if you think about it, power outages right ahead of temperatures that are 30 degrees below normal is a terrible, terrible recipe for people that need heat in their homes when that very brutal Arctic air moves in. So it's very, very unfortunate that we're going to be seeing the severe winds right out ahead of it. Definitely something to note, though. As we continue this on, we can see things get even more gradient and just in contrast, very severe here, far above normal temperatures here for the eastern United States as we're working our way from the 22nd into the 23rd of December here. And then right here, as you can see, following right behind it, we have our polar vortex. So the cold front there is going to be extremely severe, and it reaches the coast of the eastern United States there right around Friday afternoon. Again, that's December 23rd. And then by Christmas Eve, it'll be all set in. We can certainly tell, though, this is severely below normal temperatures for all of our eastern half of the nation. And this lasts right into the 26th here, where, again, we have this sufficient cold for that potential snowstorm around. And then even into the 27th and 28th, we still have that cold. But it's really once we reach the 29th, 30th, and beyond here, where we get these really, really warm temperatures trending in from our European models. So we need to watch that closely. But the first week of January is looking really warm as of now. And as you can see, cold along that western seaboard of the United States and the rest of North America in general indicates a negative PNA, which basically means that this warm air is going to move around that cold air mass and into the eastern United States. And we see that clearly taking place here. So that is what this model is calling for. And this would be the exact direct opposite of what we're seeing here around Christmas time, as you can see, where we have a positive PNA, which means above normal temperatures out here. And that forces the cold air to move around, as opposed to the opposite, the negative PNA, which we're heading into in the longer range. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon because we are going to be uploading every single day regarding all of these events and all of our future storms throughout the wintertime. So if you want to keep up to date with all of the latest weather information, be sure to do those two things. Also, like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts because I love hearing from you guys so much. And I'll see you guys in the next video.